All right, y'all. So I went to go see Die Hard. A friend of mine took me to the movies. They re-released it in theaters. Here's my thought. Die Hard is a 1988 film starring Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, and Reginald VelJohnson. It's about a guy who... I love movies. I'm just gonna say this real quick. I love movies that are grounded, but then they have like extra stuff a part of it. Die Hard is about a guy who is a New York cop who comes to LA to visit his wife, well, his separated wife, his estranged wife, if you want to say, and his kids for Christmas. Mind you, it's a Christmas movie. I don't care what anybody says. It's very evident that Die Hard, the OG Die Hard, is a Christmas film. In the midst of coming to see his wife at his at her workplace, Nakatomi Plaza, because that's how the original guy says it. The guy who dies, his name is like Takagi, I believe. He called it Nakatomi, and everybody says Nakatomi. I'm gonna call it Nakatomi. So once during that, Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman, and all his people decide to come in and hold everybody hostage for thievery. Smart thievery, though, if you really... Now, if you haven't seen this film, it came out in 1988. I'ma ruin it, all that jazz. But this film was like a lot of fun, right? It was humorous. It had good action. Even though there were a couple of times that I saw Bruce Willis' stunt double and I was like, But overall, this was like a really, really fun film. It had a little heart to it. Had some comedy to it. I will say this though. Reginald VelJohnson, I see why you got Family Matters off of this. As a supporting character, he was amazing. Listen, I was waiting for them two to reunite at the end. I needed more of them two, if I'm being honest. And I got a plot for another like Die Hard, but I'll say that. So throughout all this unlikely hero, aka Bruce Willis's John McClane, is just crawling around vents and elevators and trying to just... You would think he's trying to save everybody, but I'm really thinking he's just trying to save his wife. But overall, he's saving everybody adjacent. I like this film simply because it was written very nicely. Like I told my friend, I was like, this is MacGyver. I was like, why are we watching MacGyver right now? This is like live action MacGyver. Come to find out, the person who wrote it, and I think the person who directed it, did MacGyver. So it all makes sense. I didn't know at the time, but it reeked MacGyver. This was a really, really fun film. It has some great shots, if I'm gonna be very honest with you. Like, it was this one scene that like followed somebody around the whole like building. It was a really, really good scene. Very dynamic shots. Again, it was a 1988 film, means that it was made more than likely in like 1987 or something like that. I'm not gonna be too hard on like what they could and couldn't do, because there was a lot of things in the 80s that you couldn't do, and I felt like they did it master. But as always in film, you have to have your people who just don't listen because they are a hierarchy and they don't want to listen to the people below them. And when I say that I wanted the FBI agents to die and they died, I was in heaven. When I say that I wanted the male, not the male guy, but the newscaster to get his just due, because he threatened the maid that the babysitter that he would call the IRS just so he could interview the kids, and then he is what ultimately led to Holly Gennaro getting captured in a... I knew it was gonna happen. I was mad, and when she punched him at the end, I was like, baby girl, you... But I will say this though, the whole time Holly McClane, I'm gonna change her name to Holly McClane, was like covered up and dressed. When Hans captured her, all of a sudden titties showing, boobs out, bra. I said, come on y'all. But it's the 80s, so I died. Overall, this was a top tier A1 film. I see why people love it. I see why it's a part of people's Christmas traditions. I see why people love this film. And I've been a fan of Bruce Willis for a while, but I've never just like watched this film. But now I have. I kind of want to watch the other ones now. We'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? If y'all like and comment, maybe I would say my favorite thing about Die Hard is that John McClane and Hans Gruber come face to face, and they don't, and like John McClane doesn't know it's him. And I freaking love that. I love that so much. You don't really see in film anymore the antagonist and the protagonist like in the same room together without them really knowing who the other person is. And then on top of that too, Alan Rickman switching between the accents, baby, master class. Overall, I'll give this film a nice 9 out of 10 because it was just fun. It has some heartfelt moments. It has some really funny moments. Alan Rickman is hilarious in this film. Bruce Willis is funny too. Reginald VelJohnson just brings a certain gravitas to what he does, to the point where I really feel like bro should have had more stuff. He should have had more stuff. I'm just saying. This film should have put him in more things. I understand that it gave him Family Matters, but still, it should have put him in more things. I used to do this thing where I used to rate things like 9 out of 10 froze because I was black and I got afros, and I'm like, I'm Black Girl Marvel Multiverse. I'm like, should I give it 9 out of 10 multiverses? I don't know. Y'all help me out with it. And I'm going to say this to end this review. Die Hard is a Christmas film, okay? Not only does it take place during Christmas, it's a Christmas party that's happening. The protagonist, the antagonist, and all the people behind it are singing Christmas songs. Dude put a Santa hat on a dead man. It's a Christmas film. Okay, so I forgot to give you my plot for another Die Hard. Now, I know more than likely that Bruce Willis won't be in it. We love him, but I do have another idea for another. We know that in this particular film, that John McClane has 2 kids, a daughter and a son. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna make it so the son is the lead because they never want to put females in the lead. But it's stupid, but it is. And we also know in this film that what's his name? Roy, I believe no, that was what they called John McClane. Al is Reginald VelJohnson's character. His wife was pregnant, right? We don't know if it was a boy or girl. I would prefer it to be a girl, but that's just. What if in a future Die Hard film, one of John McClane's kids gets similarly into the same situation as their dad did, right? One of his kids, it could be the guy or the girl. More than likely, they're gonna do the guy because John McClane Jr. or some dumb shit like that. But what if he finds himself in a situation and Al's kid becomes a cop too? But who's to say that they are not already partners? They could swing this a lot of ways. They can meet each other and be like, my dad knew your dad. Because I'm pretty sure Al would tell his kid about this in the entire time. Like, come on. I would tell my kid about this story. Like, my kid would know who John McClane is. And I would like to think, because I haven't seen other Die Hards, that John McClane stayed in LA with his wife. Because at the end, he was crying, and he came to the conclusion that he should have supported his wife. But saying all that, what if their 2 kids were the star of the next film? And Reginald VelJohnson and somehow Bruce Willis hopefully can make like a cameo as older dudes together and happy to see their kids on TV or something like that. I'm just saying, I think that'd be a dope movie.